What's going on, everyone? Do not know if I am live or not. Looks like it's live. Live and live and live. All right, so let's get on with it. It's Friday night. Watching Dash most of late afternoon today. Looking for a bottom. Looks like we found it. I traded this 15-minute chart pretty successfully today. Found a bottom, came across the 8. The accumulation coming right here. The little pop over the 8, the little inverted hammer over the 8 started it all. Had a little pop. I sold into resistance. Let's see. I sold first sell. I think I sold into the low, which is right below that point, which is about 6.5, 6.4. So I sold, and then I rebought back into support, which is previous low. And since then, I've been holding it. Came over the 34, didn't hold that, but is successfully holding this reverse head and shoulders neckline. And it's getting ready to pop again. You can see the 15-minute 2-bar pattern here. So Dash is making a turn. Come on out. And from here on out, I'm going to use the hourly. My next sell would be into previous lows. And then let it come back in again. I'm not sure if that's close enough into that previous low. But these things trade pretty nicely. I got to pop over here, inverted hammer back into support as the 8 is crossing over. So I should put another buy in at the support, but right now I think I'm all loaded up. So just going to let it ride. I'm going to shave off a little profit at 6.9, 6.7, or 7 cents, and then should probably shave off a little at 7.3. As this goes back and forth between support and resistance. Looking at longer term, see where we're at. Dash had a breakout, came all the way back in. Now we're getting that turn on the intraday. That intraday has to keep going. What I'm looking for on a turn is an opposing point. So we'll get a little pop out of the current run, little bounce, hopefully into next week, into previous lows, which is about 8.0, 0.08. And I cannot tell. How is anyone supposed to use these comments? I just don't know yet. It says 2 people's watching. 2 people are watching. Must be me and somebody else. All right, so what we're going to do is watch percent gainers first. Trying to keep this simple and clean. 7:35 right now. Probably going to use 15 minutes of time going over the percent gainers. So XRP first. Come on. XRP. Percent gainer is 45%. Ripple. There's the Ripple across the weekly. Where was that? Let's see if we can get this a little tighter. Make this a little bigger. There you go, that's a little bit better. So weekly chart, you can see the crossover to 34. What Ripple is probably going to do is get rejected. So far, it being rejected a little bit. Probably get rejected, come back into support. Where that support is, we'll have to wait and see. Looking a little bit closer, you can see the next bar opening within the previous candle. One of 2 things are going to happen. It's going to come down into the range, or it's going to break out again. So most certainly can continue on. So we'll look at the intraday charts, and you can see 15 minutes kind of rolling over. It's got that rounded top. Hourly, double top put in on the 2nd hour. So look for that to come back into support. Support should hold. But it's a nice cup. So what are we looking for? Maybe a top and then a handle for a continuation. The handle would be the consolidation. It's a beautiful looking chart. I got a 2-bar pattern that's bearish outside day. Dark cloud cover. See how it closes. It's got 21 more minutes on this one. But since the weekly is over, the day is over, it's likely to come back into support. Make that handle on the intraday. Nice cup. See what about the handle comes in. Then we can move on and upward. But now we got that opposing point. So I suspect that to come back into support. And making that nice little tight pattern. Ready for another break. It is bullish. Trend has changed on XRP. It's over the 34, which is my trend changer. It's going to come back into support and then continue on. Bullish retrace. Nice volume. Always look at your volume. The next one is REP. REP. Looks like we got to narrow down on this one for a weekly chart. Looks like a few breakouts. Previous high break. Broke into previous lows, broke previous highs. Bam, it's still above previous highs at support. Looks like it's going to make a double top here. It's a weekly chart. One of two things again after the break. Makes a long wick. It's either going to continue on or come back into support, which it looks like it came all the way back into 106. Look for a previous high break. Looks like it already came into support, made a nice little hammer off of there. It's a 60-minute chart. We'll see where the 20-minute ends up. Could continue on, make an opposing point, lower high, and then come back into support. So it's making the pattern, back and forth, pop. Could most certainly come back into support and break. So watch volume. Need volume to get over that much resistance. It looks like all the volume was at the start of the pattern and in the middle of the pattern, and diminishing volume through the pattern until it gets into that price pinch, and then all of a sudden, pop. REP, PINK is a top volume, top gainer right now. This was PINK was one of the first ones I bought, and I thought, wow, that was easy. I love the way these things trade. I was just telling somebody earlier that my account is increasingly getting bigger, or my equity account is increasingly getting smaller. And I don't know why that is. Maybe because there's no market makers on here trying to hold back the stock when it's supposed to be going up, or pulling back the stock as it's going up. Pink has got a long-term chart that needs to break out. Right now it's in that range between highs and lows, but it's very narrow. Let's just take these two highs here. Let's get above there, use that as your support. And I think the first time I bought it was this punch out right here. So I got free shares on this that's been running for a while. I did wait for the turn, and I think I bought into some more, but not very much. I'm all about free trades and letting my employees run the rest of the market. So I bought the breakout, I sold at the top, let it consolidate, and it had a little pop in the middle here, and now it's getting another pop here. Nice U. So let's see what's going on into intermediate charts. Looks like we had a pop back into support, previous highs, bounced right off of previous highs. Now it looks like it's going to continue. Is it going to break previous highs here? Not sure about that. Volume is always that indicator that will tell you. If we have a volume breakout, it's quite possibly it can carry through previous highs. But we got previous highs that are further up. Make your sell orders at previous highs or into previous lows. In this case, there is no previous lows, right? So we got to use resistance at previous highs. And when those previous highs break and it's blue skies, all I can say is maybe use measured moves, 50% rule, to start taking profits. I mean, I don't know. So there you go, pink. Looks a little bullish. Looks like it's heating up again on that long-term chart. Nice U consolidated, coming right across. Another pop here. Maybe this will come down into support because it looks like it got rejected on previous highs. But I would watch this for previous highs. Use this as your support, and watch it take out all-time highs on the way up because it looks pretty heated. All the volume is in this last few here. Pump, pump, pump. Volume on this last end is not too high. So watch for volume. It could carry across, make all-time highs on this. Maybe you'll get one of those 3,000% runners again. Woohoo! Looks like I got a percent generator SJCK. I'm not familiar with this one very. I don't know anything about any one of these. I haven't done any research. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. Just trading the charts. Looks like I got a long-term trend line coming across. I got higher lows coming up. So I got support. I got resistance. It popped over resistance, came back into support. Watch the previous high breaks on this. Previous high breaks at 2.4 basically. It's popping out of the pattern, long-term pattern. It's another one of those break all-time highs. Who knows where it's going to go. I got previous highs at 2.8, 2.9, and all-time at 3.7. Let's call it 3.8. So right now, I got a long-term trend line. Came across that trend line, came back into support, came back into the trend line, came back into support. Now we got a pattern. Busted through. You can see the inverted hammer right there. Busted through, inverted hammer. That's the start. Previous high breaks. Watch previous high breaks. Looks like the volume's coming in on this last end. Looks like everyone else is seeing the same thing. This is a long-term chart. Let's narrow it down. I like that. Come on now. Internet, let's do it. Let's do it to it. Something got a little clogged here. In that case, let's see. Let's see if I got a 2 watching still. No one wants to make a comment. All right, here we go. So on the hourly chart, looks like it's coming back into support. Watch the turn. Maybe into previous highs. I got through time. I have the EMA 8 as my my support. So follow that 8 all the way up. I am coming into a double top. Look for a U and an opposing point. And we'll just use that 8 as our support. Not much of a pattern there. I'm thinking maybe it's going to come down into support, make another try. Watch this U into resistance. Not sure if it's going to break previous highs or not. Volume would set that precedent. Anywho's, watch for previous high breaks on this, as the long-term chart indicates that it would be a very nice breakout. And support is right underneath you. Got a punch at resistance, bust through, come back. Got a long-term, got a double bottom, inverted hammer, came over resistance. It's just a few stair steps on the way up, and then we'll have blue skies on this one. So watch volume. Got VOX. I think I was thinking this was going to run the other day, but it turned around, so I sold most of it. So right now on the weekly on VOX, it came back into support. Another one of those long-term breakouts. I got previous lows here, previous lows here. I'm just setting a trend line for support. And then I got previous high, making two opposing points, making that come down. Price came over, came back in. Let's look at that. How it broke, came back in, made another try. Let's get above previous highs for support. It's right at support right now. Had a nice break across the 34. Had a previous high break here, busted. Came back into support, made a double bottom, back into support. Looking for previous high breaks. Volume came in, diminishing volume right now. And that eight is our support. So it's inside the pattern. Could stay in there for, that's a daily chart, could stay in there for a few days, you never know. Hourly looks pretty jumpy. Resistance, opposing point, came back, busted into another line of resistance. Came down. It's all over the place on this hourly. I'd look for volume breaks. Look at the volume breaks. Very, very easy to spot the volume breaks. You see a volume break, it looks like on this one, you can just take a ride, which I find very amazing because it's not that sensitive on equities. VOX, watch the volume. It's coming into a long-term back and forth. Resistance, support, resistance, support. Watch the pops. VOX, SDC. Anyone out there tell me the best time to trade these things? Looks right now, Friday night, looks like no one's trading much of anything. SDC is coming in. Got 13% so far. Nice looking chart on that hourly. Let's start from the week. Bam. Got a nice trend line break. Long-term trend line, long-term support. Hit resistance, back and forth, pop. Came all the way back into support, came back into support some more. Looks like it came back in to the previous pattern. So now I got resistance, support, back and forth, back and forth. Look at that 8 curving across. This looks bullish on a weekly chart. Watch the volume. The volume on this one's deceiving because it had a great pop and all of everybody started to sell it into support. We are at support. Look for previous high breaks. Use the previous candles on the way up as support. Looks like trend is changing on this one. It's a nice looking nice looking chart right there. Let's look at the daily real quick. There's the churn. Let's get back above the 34 on the daily, which is previous highs, previous breaks. I'm thinking the first pop is going to be our opposing point on the daily chart, making a pattern. I don't suspect that after that nice bullish run, coming all the way back in. It's going to hit it's going to hit previous lows on the way up. I'm thinking into resistance, come back into support, trade outside that pattern. That's a daily chart. And look at that. Oh, look at a flat top break coming. Watch for volume breaks on this one, SDC, flat top break on the 60-minute chart. Looks like we already had a bullish run. Boom, boom, boom. It's getting a little tight. Watch those averages moving on up. Previous highs as your trend. Your resistance line. Looks like it's at resistance right now. Wait till you get above resistance to buy in. Use resistance as your support. Where once was resistance, it pops across, then it's just support. That looks pretty bullish. Nice. PASC. Probably do just a couple more of these percent gainers. PASC. Looks like the hourly chart's got an opposing point already. We got lower highs. We got a pattern. Right. Watch for volume. So you have a break and then it consolidates, makes a pattern. Wait for that pattern to break. I got a bullish encompassing pattern on the bottom here. Look for previous high breaks, crossing. I would say crossing over 3.5. You can buy it from a bottom if you're smart enough to buy into support. But knowing that two-bar pattern was going to happen off of that low, I'm not sure how you would see that. But high breaks, use that as your support. I got previous high break over here. I got the two-bar pattern going across any second. Watch for volume breaks. PASC could have a nice little runner again. I remember last night that thing ran up 75% out of nowhere, and I was like, what? No way. I just saw it at 20% and ran up 70. There it was. Look at that price pinch. I got support running on up. I got resistance coming through on the downward. Came into resistance, back pinch, 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 pop. Now it's back at support. It pops, comes back into support. 34 is your support now. The trend is changing. That's a daily chart. Nice U. Look at that U. Bam, 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 pop. And to look at the longer term, these are all fresh fresh off the presses. Look for previous lows on the way up. I got support now. Look for previous lows. It already smacked it once. Look for that previous high to break, 4.2, all time. Gonna run on up. Could get a double off of that one. The 4 break. But we are at support right now. It looks pretty healthy. PASC, XBC. I think that was the big runner that last time, wasn't it? XBC. Where are you? There it is. Oh yeah, that was the big runner. Out of nowhere, 3,000% on up. You can see that previous pattern break. Back into resistance, pop, 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 back, bam. You can see how it builded. It built its way back and forth, where bam. Previous high breaks. I think that previous high break was my first sale on this. And I remember I was at work and there's no way to keep watching this thing. But every time I looked around, I was selling on the way up. There's no way I got the whole 3,000%, but I caught a lot of it. I surely was at the bottom of it. Caught the whole thing, really. XPC, come on, where'd you go? Let's narrow down and see what's going on here. XBC, I think this ran up, came back into support. Look for previous high breaks. Might be stuck in this pattern for a while. Looks like it's going sideways now for consolidation. Watch for volume breaks, XBC. QORA. Oh, my internet sucks. I think I need to clear out my cache, really. All right, so the hourly chart, it's kind of limited. You can see how low trading this is, the way that looks. Not a lot of trading going on with this. Let's see what the volume is on it. 38 trades or 38 coins of QORA. What is this? Cora? So very thinly traded. You can see how low it is. It looks like it had a pop, came back into support. Now it's breaking previous highs. But let's look at the weekly just so we know where we are on it. I got a downward trend line. I got a double bottom. So you never know. I mean, these sleeper cells. Nice inverted hammer here, consolidated, accumulated right here. Came across one more time, came back into support already. That's a weekly chart. Daily chart looks like we just got a cross over the 34, came into support. So my next move is opposing point. This is the chart I should be watching if I was going to move on in. So I got higher lows. My next move is going to be into resistance. Now this could make a very tight U, watch volume, very tight U, break previous highs. I call that the launch ramp. Then you get a nice measured move out of that. So the quicker the consolidation across the 34, if it makes a quick U, it could just sling right past previous highs. But what I'm looking for is not the grand slam across. I'm looking for an opposing point, sell into resistance, and I'll buy it back into support. Make sure it comes into the end of the pattern. Bam. That's more probable. Watch for volume, of course. RADS, let's just look at this one more. One more, and then we'll look at the volume gainers. RADS looks like it's setting up for another move. Came into a high. Came all the way down into support. Now it's been creeping. Look for those previous high breaks, as this is one of those movers. That little creep. Bam! Watch that one. RADS. I think I'm pretty much in every 75% of these already. So if I'm not going in to see if I own anything, I think I already own it. What I'm doing now is just doubling up on the moves. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, we did have a big move, came back into support. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. And the hourly. All right. So I got a high here. I got a lower high here. So I got a resistance line. the opposing points. I got higher lows. So what do we got? We got a punch, back into support, punch, back into support. And that 8 coming across that 13, stay above the 8. That U can turn very soon. 1, 2, 3, back into support, bam. Get the pop. Watch for volume breaks. I like this. I like the way RADS works, or I like the way this one moves. So I'm going to be watching this one very, very, very closely. Look for previous high breaks. If you missed the support, use previous high breaks as your support. Watch the breaks on this whole pattern at 1.5, 1.45. You got support all the way up. It's coming inside that pattern, getting real tight in here. It looks like a support hold held 50% of this green candle. 50%. Looks like it's holding support. Looks like it's going to make a tight U across. We'll have to see what happens. All right, so volume gainers. Oh, it looks like XRP. XRP. I think we just looked at that one. Very nice volume on XRP. Let's just take a look real quick. Okay, so we're coming into resistance. I'm thinking it's going to come down, gather its legs one more time. I got a double top off of resistance. So I'm thinking it's going to come, watch support lines break into the next line of support. I think this one might need to relax, gather its legs into support, try again. Looks bullish. I know that long-term chart was bullish. Bam! It's pretty much that hourly chart's pretty much a high-level consolidation on that weekly chart. So it's holding its own pretty well. All right, ETH. Got a 2-bar pattern here, a hammer here, across the 8 and the 13. Looks like it's going to break into previous lows here very, very shortly. Very nice. It's going to have a previous high break on these flat tops into previous lows. So buy here, sell high. Looks like resistance at 4.8. But you're in the range. You're above support, below resistance. Use these 3 lines as your support and resistance. So it looks like it's going to have a flat top break into resistance, come back into support, try again over that 34. Back and forth, pop. But that being said, it looks like a bearish flag on the hourly. But it's crossing over. Make sure you hold support. And support is previous highs on this. It already broke out, came back into support. Broke out, came back into support. It's holding. It's below previous highs for right now. But it looks like it's breaking above previous highs here shortly. So back and forth, this top level consolidator. Too hard to tell, especially after a run like that. I always suspect it's going to come back into support, meet its maker, its support lines. But it could definitely keep moving. Just watch volume. We've seen that happen a couple times already. Ooh. Let's look at the daily. Looks like the daily came into a step into support. Right now it's crossing the 8 into the 8, resistance back through the 13. Looks like it's coming back into resistance. So I don't know if this one's done yet. So far it's holding previous breaks. So the last previous break came, and then it's stepping into support. Support's holding so far. See if we can get, how do I clear out all my crap? There we go. So what I'm saying is watch that top trend line broken as we have support on previous breaks. So it's in a pattern. Stairs stepping into support. It's very tight in here. It's either going to break down or consolidation is going to end. Support line's going to hold. Pop. So trade outside the pattern. I don't think it's ready yet. I got diminishing volume. Look for volume breaks across that resistance line. LTC. I think I caught a bottom on LTC. And now it's coming back into support. So I sold off on the way up. Where those sells were, pretty obvious where resistance was on that. Right now, previous lows needs to support. Looks like on the daily, came all the way back into support already. What I'm thinking is it's going to need to come back down or go sideways. Doesn't have to come down. It can go sideways where the averages will come up, and through time, it'll gain support. Because the high-level consolidation, the price makes the average. So if it stays up here in a higher average consolidation, the averages will come up to support. So let this one rest. LTC. Watch for price to come into support. I would put a purchase order right above that 8 and see if it'll come down and grab you. The 8 comes up, you raise your bid. See what happens. Dash, I think we started off with that one. Let's just take a look. I think we're looking for another move on Dash as it came down into support. Looking for a turn on Dash. Support's got a hold. We had a turn here, inverted hammer, 2-bar pattern, pop, inverted hammer, coming down into support. I got another hammer. Man, I love these things. Look for previous high breaks on this pattern down here. Let's take a narrow look. Look for a turn on the 15-minute chart. I got a double bottom forming. Support's got to hold. Otherwise, it's going to fall into the next line of support. I had a reverse head and shoulders here. That neckline was broken. Bam! But it's come back into the previous pattern. Looks like it's making a longer term pattern. And it's trying to find support. So that's a 15-minute chart. Let's look at the hourly again. So it came through, come back into support. Let's get a turn on this. That support line's got to hold. And looks like 6.7 or 6.8, 6.9 is where I'm going to sell. Because now I'm in on the hourly chart. I got resistance and support. It could do one of these slowly but surely, and then cross the 34, come into support. But we got the beginning of a bottom on the hourly chart, so I'm going to be watching that all night. ETC. I remember a few Saturdays ago that things were just crazy. So that's why I ask if anyone can tell me what the best time to trade these things. Because it looked like on a Saturday night, everyone was on fire trading. ETC, let's look at it longer term before we get in. ETC had a double bottom. That trend line break there, that top of that W. 1, 2, nice W. Cross the previous break, pop. Looks like it came into support already. So now, let's take care of all my crap. Oop. All right, so on the daily, we had a cross above the 34, rode on up, double topped, came back into support. Had another pop, hold support on previous highs, doesn't look like it. ETC, I don't know where it's going to go from here. It supports, it's below previous highs is my problem. But I do have support, so I have to give it another day before I can make a definite decision. It's got to get above previous highs to make me happy. And it looks like it's closing below. So we had a pop, came into support, pop, came into support. Might be one of those stair steps. Pop, 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 lower highs all the way in, stair stepping into support. Bap, 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 bap. It's not much of a pattern either. It did come all the way down into support. So what is it going to do? Is it going to previous high break, get into another line? I'm not sure. ETC. I am waiting to catch another one of these classic moves on this one, though. So I'm going to take previous high breaks. Otherwise, I'm watching for support lines to hold. GNT, I really like GNT's movements. Wham! These things are awesome. We had a tremendous, these inverted hammers over support. The pop into support are just, they're like common moves on these altcoins. I can't believe it. How I got a double bottom, but is the double bottom going to hold? It looks like it's finding resistance right now. Previous breaks, it's got to get upwards, start making higher highs to keep on moving. It's got a peak here. It's got a peak here. Double bottom. It's got to wake up. I would take previous high breaks at 9.5 for the next run. Watch volume. It's got diminishing volume through this pattern here. It's got a double bottom. Not sure. I'm not sure. Now on the weekly, it looks like a lot of things could happen. It's a fairly new issue. I'm not going to count this long green or long red candle that just is way up there. Where does it stop? 0.02. Lots of volume on that other end. That's for sure. Look for support lines. Watch those previous high breaks. I got support line on weekly, which is 6.7, right around there. Let's look at the daily. Nice pop. Came back into support. It looks like it needs to rest. Gather its legs. Try again. Looks like it needs to wait. That was a beautiful pop. REP, we already looked at that. XMR. XMR. We look at this one already. Monero. Let's look at the long term first. Looks like it hit resistance. It's coming back into support. Let's wait for a turn. Looks like it hit previous highs already. That's the first line of support. So let's see if that'll hold. There we are. We need for support to hold. Look like it is. I got a turn. I don't think this one's ready to turn yet. Anything can happen. Watch volume. Looks like we made a high, came into support, made an opposing point, came all the way back through, and hit resistance, and now it's being blown back. So look for next lines of support. It doesn't look like it's ready. Could make a double bottom here and just flip on over. I don't know. Volume is the key. Volume is the key. STR. Let's take a quick gander. STR. Oh, look at that. Nice daily chart. Cross over the 34, back into support. Watch the previous highs as you step on up. That looks bullish off the daily chart. STR. I love those moves across the 34. Let's see, the hourly. Let's see if this is ready. Nice hammer. I got higher lows. Making a pattern. Back and forth, back and forth. Nice hammer here. Take out that hammer, take a ride. STR looks ready. Watch the volume breaks. You need volume. STR. FCT. Let's keep on going. Why not? It's Friday night. Look at me. I'm trading Bitcoin. Oh, which reminds me, we need to take a look at Bitcoin in a second. FCT. Nice, nice, nice. Looks like I got a double bottom here. Came into resistance. Made a higher low. Right there. Right there. Now it's coming across. Into previous lows. Into previous lows. Once it breaks into previous lows, it can ride that price range all the way up. Nice double bottom. 1, 2. Now it's breaking previous highs. See if we can get a pop out of this one. Looks like volume's picking up on it. It's only down 1% so far. Let's look at the longer term and see where we're at. Let's take care of my crap. Get a fresh look. Squinch this thing down. Let's watch for long-term trend lines to break. Right? It's right there. Long-term trend lines. FCT. Long-term trend lines. The pattern is coming into a pinch. That pinch can last for a while. I mean, this is a weekly chart. So it looks like we got maybe, a few more candles that can fit in between here. Watch for rejections on resistance. But right now it popped, came into resistance. And it looks like on that hourly chart, it's fomenting off the bottom. Got higher low. A, B bottom, higher low. Left, head, get that right shoulder in. FCT, watch this one for breaks. ZEC. Oops. ZEC, look at that long-term trend line that needs to break on the hourly. Looks like we have from the bottom in the depths of hell, came all the way through, and now it's consolidating. Let's look at the long term, see where we're at. Yeah, it's a fresh off the presses. It's an amazing time to get involved with these things, I think. These are all fresh. Okay, I got previous lows up here, which right now needs to get above or pop into. So I got lots of resistance at 7 cents. I got previous lows here for support and resistance at 7. So it's in between support and resistance. Our support is previous lows. Our resistance is previous lows on up. So right now, if we popped across, got rejected, we're in between here. Buy into support. Support's got to hold. If support doesn't hold and you know you made a mistake, let the price come on in. Right now, let's look for a back and forth pop. Looks like a nice U, pop, and a handle. Look for support to turn. And that hourly chart was very telling. That long leg of consolidation right here. So watch breaks into previous lows. And it looks like I got a higher low coming in on the end of the chart. Higher low. 2-bar pattern. Watch for a little break into previous lows. If we get above that 34, look for a pop back into support. There's your best buy. It's kind of hard to tell where the bottoms are, but once you get above the 34, look for support pullbacks. The bullish retracement, I call it. Pop across the 34, come in support, and then we can start building. Who knows what's going to happen? But make sure you take a ride if you break that long-term trend line there, coming off of the higher lows. There you go. Looks like Made came in to the picture here just shortly. Let's see. Let's look at the long term first. Yeah, it's coming out of that trend, or it's coming into a price pinch, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Pop. Looks like it's building. It's got the 1-2 punch look. It's got the 1-2 punch. It's got a little building to do on the hourly. Let's see. Take a gander. Boom, boom. Support has to hold. Looks like if we can build this thing just enough to get above support or gain support, we can have another run and get that 1-2 punch on the weekly to happen. Look for volume. Right now it's struggling, consolidating over the 34, and it looks like it's a little bearish right now. So let it come into support. Looks like a step into support. This can turn around, no problem. Look for previous high breaks. Previous high breaks, into previous lows. This previous highs, these previous highs into previous lows. Break that top trend line. It looks heavy. Might need to gather its legs. That's a descending triangle over support. So look for it to come down, gather its legs, try again. But that's the hourly chart. So, so it could just last a few hours, a couple days. What's that? Dodge. Where is you, Dodge? Dodge. Nice. Look for previous high breaks. You have a flat top break, you missed it. Came across previous high breaks, use those as your support. Watch this thing run across. Let's see what's happening on the long term. It already got rejected by the 34. Maybe it wants to cross now. That rejection was into previous lows. So let's take a narrow look. Look for previous high breaks as those previous lows are broken in. And hourly. Downward. I got a downward trend line. Lower highs. Looks like it's breaking. Right? Consolidated over the 34. Little pop. Looks like it's coming into support a little bit more. Watch the previous high breaks on DOGE. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Dogi? I don't know. I have no idea what these things are doing. All right, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Let's look at Steam. Lots of stuff going on with Steam. I got a little blog over there, so lots of people talking about the co-owner leaving, or I don't know what's going on. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, come on, production value, break. Where's the volume? That'd be crazy if I can manipulate these things with my viewers. Oh, that would be sick. Don't blame me. I didn't do it. I got a double. Steam. We did have a run back up from the downfall. Popped over. Looks like a consolidation over the 34. It looks pretty healthy. Steamers. Had a drastic downcline, and it whipped right across. Let's get rid of this crap. Come on. Looks like a nice consolidation on that daily chart. Look for previous high breaks. You're into support right now. The cross over the 34 and the consolidation, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Nice. I like this. I like it. I like it. Look at that. That looks like a nice pattern over the 34. I like that. I'm going to call it a day on that one because I want to get off and see how much I own of it. All right, let's see. Did anyone comment? Oh, hi. I missed you. BCN. Yes, I'll do that. Thank you. BCN. I don't know what's going on, So I'm glad someone responded. Could have been talking to myself for half an hour now. BCN. All right, so same scenario as ever. Let's look at the long-term chart first. We had a breakout, right? Huge breakout. Let it come back into support. Looks like previous highs are the support. But by the looks of that daily chart, looks like it still needs a lot of rest. It's coming pretty tight pattern. Let's take care of my crap. So I got basically lower highs and higher lows. It is on the daily. It looks like it's coming into a pinch, so you might get a little pop out of it. But what I'm looking on that pop is another higher low. to make this a better pattern to trade in and out. Looks like it came into support. It's consolidating. Let's see what happens here. With that being said, let's narrow in a little bit more. Scrunch this thing down. Yeah, I'm looking, because of that huge run up and then the bounce. I'm looking for maybe a previous high break to get a higher bounce. You do have higher lows. It's just that ran up so hard and fast. I would trade outside that pattern. Take previous highs, but just be warned that I think that it'll run into previous lows so we can get a better pattern to form. Because it ran up so hard. Even though it's only how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 zeros, 4, 3 was the high. Now it's 400% down. Ride the trend line on up. Hold your support. You got an intermediate trend line here. Trade outside that pattern. What I'm thinking is we'll get a higher low so that we can get a bigger pattern forming. Watch for volume, of course. Let's look at a narrow. Get in there. Sorry, my internet's really sucky. Pretty low on the volume. Watch for volume. Volume is key on these little things. Once volume hits, I mean, these things ran. Woo. I like it. I don't know if it's ready yet. What I'm saying is break this intermediate trend line, make a lower high from the top of the peak. That way we can have a better pattern, go back and forth in. Right now it's consolidating nice at a higher lows. So it's trending. Watch for previous high breaks into previous lows. Previous lows is where I sell. I got previous lows here, here. Just make sure support holds. Watch the volume on the way up. Make higher into resistance. I don't know where that resistance is going to be. I'm guessing it's going to hit previous lows. So maybe 2.5, 2.7. That's just a guesstimation. So does that satisfy? Thank you. Yes. You're welcome, Wendy. I appreciate you. With that being said, I'm going to take off. If anyone has any input on when is a good time to have a scheduled live trading video, that would probably help me because I'm new to these altcoins. I have no idea. It just seems like to me they just do whatever they want, no control at all, which is I love that. Anyways, please let me know what's going on out there. I'll see you, everyone. Bye bye. And now I got to figure out how to turn it off. Yeah.